Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns. Also commemorating World Health Organization 75th anniversary in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute, Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemoration. Today, we are commemorating World Radiography Day. World Radiography Day is celebrated every year on November 8, marking the anniversary of the birth of X-rays. We all had one done, but we all take the marvelous technology for granted. It's hard to imagine a world today where X-rays doesn't exist. They are the foundation of many medical diagnostic tools and help doctors discover a range of problems. What's wonderful is that they do this in a matter of minutes and completely painless. So the day also celebrates the hardworking radiographers and radiologists who make X-rays possible. X-rays were discovered accidentally by Professor Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen of the Würzburg University, Germany, in 1895. Röntgen was working with a cathode ray tube in his laboratory when he had noticed a fluorescent glow of crystals on a table near his tube, which contained a bulb with negative positive electrodes. When the air in the tube was evacuated and a high voltage was applied, the tube began producing a fluorescent glow. Shielding the tube with a black paper, he found that the material placed a few feet away from the tube generated a green fluorescent light. So with these observations, he concluded that the tube was emitting a new type of ray that was capable of passing through the paper covering and exciting the phosphorescent materials. He discovered that this new ray could pass through the numerous substances, casting shadows on solid objects. Röntgen also realized that the ray could pass through human tissues, but not through bones and metal. One of his first experiments was a film of his wife's hand where bones and ring are visible. The discovery was a scientific breakthrough and was rightly received with enthusiastic interest by both scientists and everyone else. Other scientists could easily duplicate his experiment since the cathode tube was very well known then. Several scientists even dropped other lines of research to pursue those newly discovered rays, with the discovery receiving heavy media coverage. Several medical personnel began using radiographs in Europe and US just a month after discovery. 6 months later, radiographs also found their way to the battlefield. to help wounded soldiers. So X-rays are discovered. Röntgen discovers X-rays by accident in 1895. The first surgical use, John Hall Edwards uses X-rays in a surgical operation in 1896. Chandra X-ray Observatory is launched, allowing the exploration of violent processes in the universe, which is an astronomical application of X-ray in 1999. As of 2010, around 5 billion medical radiography examinations have been conducted globally. So numerous medical imaging. So there is no known cure for radiation. Barriers can, however, prevent exposure, and some medications may remove some radiation from the body. For removing radiation from the body. So does radiation stay in body forever? The radiation only stays in the body for anywhere for a few minutes to few days. It depends on the type of radiation and the amount of radiation and the exposure time of radiation. When high doses of X-ray radiation are observed within our bodies, it can damage molecular structure and potentially cause harm. So visit your doctor to get a full body checkup done. Even if you feel fine, prevention is always better than cure, at least once a year. Pay your respects to the many radiographers and radiologists who handled X-rays and related equipment without any safety gear, as negative effects were unknown back then. Their sacrifice allowed humanity to learn more and improve X-ray practices, help spread information and spread awareness on the many benefits of medical imaging. Also, take this day to thank many radiographers and radiologists currently working hard to improve our lives. So X-rays were crucial in helping us identify the famous helix shape of human DNA. X-rays could diagnose tuberculosis early, as doctors could see shadows and spots in the lungs. Röntgen did not patent them, as he wanted X-rays to be used for all by all for the benefit of everyone. Röntgen named it thus because the accidental nature of its discovery. X in X-ray stands for unknown. So Thomas Edison's assistant was the first person to die from the exposure to X-rays, the first X-ray death that was caused. An X-ray is a medical marvel that helps people identify several illnesses and issues with the body. They have helped countless people since their discovery. The day also serves as a reminder to get a medical checkup done once in a while to make sure everything is okay. Checkups can often be easy, quick, and non-invasive procedures. Appreciate the many radiographers and radiologists who work hard to provide this service. Also take a moment to remember the several men and women who pioneered the X-ray technology to make it as quick and accessible as it is today. So today is also commemorated as World Town Planning Day. Town Planning Day is observed annually on November 8th. This day was set aside to commemorate the important role planning and structuring play in creation of our communities. Town planning is one of the most important parts of creating our organized, livable communities, and this act gained full recognition when this day was founded in 1949 by the late Professor Carlos Maria de la Polera. World Town Planning Day also goes by the name World Urbanism Day. The holiday seeks to encourage community planning by paying heed to paying need to the environmental factors involved in progressing a term. Just a second. Yeah. So this day seeks to encourage community planning by paying need to the environmental factors involved in progressing a term. So taking a few moments to think about the area you live in, think about how easy it is to locate and navigate to your office, favorite grocery store, or even your favorite bar. That is, would not have been possible without the application of town planning. Urban or town planning is the most important process that goes into the development of any urban, suburban, or rural areas. It determines seamless how we seamlessly work, live, and play in any given environment. It is a concept that have been in existence for as long as the Mesopotamian and Egyptian civilizations and have positively evolved. In more technical terms, town planning refers to the technical process that focus on design, development, and use of infrastructure put in place when setting up a community. This planning focus on factors like accessibility, transportation, communication, and distribution networks by applying knowledge from different areas of life, such as engineering, architecture, politics, and even human psychology. The idea of a planned out urban area can be traced back to as far as civilizations found in the third millennium BC, with Greek city states centering on the grid like plans for military defenses and public convenience. From the 15th century, more thought was being put into urban planning, and by the 20th century, the concerns of general public, like the working man, became a priority, and urban planning took a more central approach. The Organization for World Urbanism Day or World Town Planning Day was founded by late Professor Carlos Mario della Polera in 1949 as a bid to look at urban planning from a global approach and to promote its role in creating livable communities. It is globally recognized by over 30 countries and 4 continents and is celebrated on November 8th worldwide. So, a more thoughtful approach, there is more theoretical thought being discussed and put into architecture and urban planning in 15th century. The city of Paris is redesigned into a more modern capital with wider roads and boulevards in 1800s, the redesigning of Paris. And the Town and Country Planning Association is established in Britain, the official body, in 1899. So the modern approach, modernism, uniformity, Individualism and diversity became the main focus of urban development in 1900s. So, what kind of jobs are available in urban planning? A great mistake made by a lot of people is believing that individuals involved in urban planning are just that, urban planners. However, there are many career paths one can choose from going down this road professionally. Some of them are code enforcement planners, city planners, community development planners, environmental and natural resource planners, and historic preservation planners, and many others. So, John Friedman was a professor and world renowned urban theorist and was considered the father of urban planning. He was born on 16th April 1926 and passed away on June 12, 2017. So the first urban planning conference in America was held in New York in 1898. So planning associations across the world organize different kinds of events on this day to promote the cause. So the main goal of town planning is to raise awareness of its importance on a global scale. So join the cause by spreading information across the platforms. Attend online and offline events like this that is organized each year on this date. It is a perfect option for those who attend or cannot attend live events. Learn more details about it online and see how you can join in and be part of it. Don't keep this information to yourself, but instead share it with loved ones who may be interested. The reason cities seem to expand so well with an increase in population is often because the room for it and was laid out in an overall urban plan. Predicting possible disasters is an important concept in the urban planning process. Europeans have a better plan. European towns are designed to be pedestrian friendly, which makes everything closer and easier to navigate. Health is priority. Urban planners are mandated to follow World Health Organization guidelines when planning. Urban squares are a hit. Urban planners often include central squares in planning process in a fit to bring people together by creating a one-stop go. So World Towning Plan Day highlights the importance of adequate urban planning, not just for the communities, but also the world at large. As the population increases every day, it is essential to put proper planning methods in place to make room for adequate expansion. So this day does not only raise awareness of the importance of urban planning, but also highlights the amazing contribution of culture, So this day not only raises awareness of the importance of urban planning, but also highlights the amazing contribution of urban planners in our communities so far. So this gives an understanding of the important contribution. So as we raise awareness of the need for urban planning on this day, we also get a deeper understanding of why it is so important for the day. We're also commemorating today, November 8th, as World Pianist Day. So World Pianist Day comes around each year or each November, 8 o'clock, sorry, on November 8th. It is dedicated primarily to pianists and their achievements the world has seen and will may or appreciate or see, the world may have seen and will see many unsurpassed musicians whose music has traveled through the ages. It's a day to those. So it's a day to treasure the emotions pianists evoke with their performance. Indeed, it makes our hearts move and ultimate joy. As many piano events as possible to help to embrace this joy. Most forms of Western music can use the piano. Pianists have a wide choice of styles to choose from, including jazz and blues. It's also a chance for those who have never been involved to give it a try. Typically, modern classical pianists dedicate their careers to perform, recording, teaching, and researching new works to expand their expertise. They do not usually write or transcribe music as per each. So, as for the classical pianist, one of the greatest examples in Mozart, people consider him the first concert pianist because he often and widely performed on the piano. Composers of the classical era, Beethoven and Clementi, were also famous for their playing, as well as Liszt, Brahms, Chopin, Mendelssohn, Rachmaninoff, and Schumann. And in classical period, the piano begins to consolidate its place in the hearts and souls of everyday people. In turn, jazz pianists almost always perform with other musicians, comparing with their playing with the playing of classical pianists. We say that it is freer and there is an atmosphere of spontaneity in their performance. They usually do record their compositions, improvisation in a significant part of the work. The famous jazz pianists are represented by Bill Evans, Art Tatum, Duke Ellington, Thelonious Monk, Oscar Peterson, and Baden Powell. In Italy, Bartolomeo Cristofori invents the string keyboard instrument, the piano 1700. A biographical military drama film titled The Pianist is released and is based on the autobiographical book of the same name and memoirs at the Holocaust by Polish Jewish pianist composer Vladislav Spellman. So German pianist and composer Niels Fram comes up with the idea in 2015. Oslo Jazz Festival taught Gutsavan plays piano during the concert. So pianists, especially professionals, practice many hours a day. And when you play the piano for a long time, more blood flows to your hands. So the day also honors the music of the past and promotes its development. So World Music Day, first launched in France, is celebrated annually on June 21st. So the obvious way to celebrate World Pianist Day is to attend a piano concert. You will be able to fully enjoy the piano's delightful melody. So watch the Pianist movie. It will introduce you to the complicated but rich and satisfying life of a pianist and a composer. So World Piano Day or Pianist Day is the perfect day to hone your piano skills. So do not waste time, take an instrument and start playing. So unlike modern pianos in 1970, which were made of plastic, those that were made earlier were of ebony and ivory. The piano contains 220 to 230 steel strings, each of which can withstand about 168 tons of tension. A typical 88-key piano has 7 octaves compared to 4 octaves found on guitar and violin. So they have the widest range of notes. So traditionally, the piano has 3 pedals which change the articulation of the piano. The new piano needs to be tuned 3 to 4 times a year to allow the new strings to take hold. Often, people underestimate the merits and achievements of pianists. World Pianist Day is designed to thank them for their contributions to the history of piano music. The piano is a unique musical instrument. Its sounds are enchanting and inspiring. If you could not dare to learn a play the piano, then consider that time has come. World Pianist Day is a day to test yourself and your probably hidden musical abilities. Today is also commemorated as International Radiology Day. As we have seen, today is synonymously celebrated as World Radiography Day. So it is an yearly event that is commemorated on November 8th, the anniversary of the discovery of X-rays, and promotes radiology's role in healthcare. The European Society of Radiology, ESR, and the Radiology Society of North America and the American College of Radiology jointly launched it in 2012. Nearly 200 subspecialty and allied organizations around the world recognize and celebrate the International Day of Radiology. Every year, a theme is chosen that focus on various radiology specialties. So, radiology, a discipline of medicine, utilizes medical imaging to diagnose and treat diseases that affect both animals and humans. So, on November 8, 1895, Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, a German mechanical engineer and physicist, discovered X-rays by accident while exploring cathode rays, thereby establishing the groundwork for medical specialty of radiology. Röntgen went on to discover and create electromagnetic radiation in the X-ray or Röntgen ray wavelength range, earning him the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1901. So the International Day of Radiology was established in 2011 as a follow-up to the European Day of Radiology. On February 10, 2011, the first and only European Day of Radiology was conducted to honor the anniversary of Röntgen's death. The European Society of Radiology hosted the event following the European Day of Radiology success. The ESR collaborated with the Radiological Society of North America and the American College of Radiology to create International Day of Radiology. It was also determined that the anniversary of Röntgen's death should be relocated to the anniversary of his discovery of the X-ray. Thus, the November 8th becomes the International Day of Radiology. So on November 28, 2011, the three founding societies formally recognized the day during the annual Radiological Society of North America meeting in Chicago. November 8 was eventually picked up, and all radiological organizations around the world commemorate it. So Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, a German mechanical engineer and physicist, discovers X-rays in 1895. On November 28, 2011, the three founding societies formally recognized the International Day of Radiology in 2011. On February 18, 2011, the first and only European Day of Radiology is conducted to honor the anniversary of Röntgen's death in 2011. So the 10th anniversary of the International Day of Radiology is celebrated on November 8th, the 10 years of International Day of Radiology. So radiologists are medical doctors who are completely licensed. A radiologist from the German Cancer Consortium, Alexander Radbranch, is the world's best radiologist. So it takes 13 years of training to get trained in radiology. So on this day, radiographer associations and healthcare providers hold programs to educate public about X-rays and radiation safety. You can plan your schedule to attend any one of these events. Thank a radiographer or radiologist for their services if you have a personal radiograph. Gratitude by sending them an edible arrangement or a thank you letter. Today is also commemorated as National Duns Day in US. This day commemorates the death anniversary of Scottish philosopher John Duns Scotus. His views ranged from brilliant to downright laughable. Duns Scouts believed that cone-shaped hats increased learning potential. So Duns Scotus believed that the cone-shaped hats increased learning potential. So he was the opinion that knowledge would flow from the point of cap down into the head of the bearer, making that person smarter. The observation, of course, makes no sense. And today, a person wearing a dunce cup today is also commemorated as National Parents as Teachers Day in US. This is a day to recognize the organizations that offer educational services to parents across the country and around the world so that they may be able to better support their children's learning and growth. So National Parents as Teachers Day acknowledges. So, National Parents as Teachers Day acknowledges the important role that parents play in the initial education of their child life. Every child learns their first lessons at home. Today, we are also commemorating STEM or STEAM Day. There is no way around it. Children are significantly better off with strong science and technology, engineering, art, and mathematics skills. That's why STEM and STEAM education programs are so important. It's undebatable. So, studies in the early 2000 revealed that the US students were not achieving in the STEM disciplines as the same rate as students in other countries. The report predicted dire consequences if the country could not compete in the global economy as a result of poorly prepared workforce. Thus, educators focused on science, math, and technology. A 2006 study later showed that a comparatively large proportion of the students underperformed in these subjects and that the country ranked near bottom on assessment of. Abet and Ada Punster's Day is celebrated on November 8th every year. Day is also commemorated as Abet and 8 Punster's Day. Abet and 8 Punster's Day is celebrated on November 8th every year when all of us are experiencing withdrawals from the October festivities. Today is also commemorated as Cook Something Bold and Pungent Day in US. So little is left to the imagination, and celebrations are held by cooking bold and pungent foods, or in other words, food that will knock your socks off. Any recipe with lots of spices, flavorful condiments, or fragrances can be considered bold. As for pungent, any food that has a strong smell will qualify. And smell of garlic, mustard, or even eggs can qualify as pungent. This day encourages us to experiment with our cooking and dating habits and not be boring with our food choices, even if it's only for a day. We are not sure how to cook something bold and pungent came about, and the origin, the founder of the day, are still unknown. However, the day was designed to show recognition and raise awareness for cooking something bold and pungent. Simply put, the primary intention of the day is to cook something original, spicy, and even a bit offensive. The day intends to mark the best use of herbs like such as garlic, hot pepper, and that add to dish flavor and promote the healthy and longevity of those who eat. Today is also commemorated as NYC Kidney Walk in United States. It is celebrated on November 8th to November 14th every year. So this event was introduced by National Kidney Foundation in order to spread awareness about kidney diseases and raise funds for those in need. The New York City Kidney Walk is an important initiative for kidney patients, their families, and healthcare professionals. It provides a source of assistance by offering real time support. The walk raises money through donations, with more than 80 cents of every dollar going to kidney research, patient treatment, professional service provider education, public health education, and community centers. So in the 1953, the first walkathon was organized in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It was arranged by Ramon Rivero Acadiplo, a Puerto Rican actor and a comedian. He walked from San Juan to Ponce, covering a distance of 80 kilometers. The walk's purpose was to raise money for the Puerto Rico League Against Cancer, and it succeeded in raising $85,000 in just 4 days. The first walkathon was held in the United States in 1968. It was funded by the American Freedom from Hunger Foundation. This event was known as the International Walk for Development and took place in Minnesota. Approximately 3,000 individuals walked for 33 miles. On May 8, 1971, the world's largest walkathon took place for the first time in US. More than 150,000 Americans turned out to demonstrate their support for the fight against hunger. There were several routes totaling over 2 million miles. The walkathon raised nearly $1.2 million, and other organizations began to use the concept for fundraising. Since then, the number of walkathons held around the country has increased, and according to the Running USA State of the Sport report from 2012, America had a record-breaking year with 26,370 events. Every single day, this equated to approximately 72 incidents. The demonstrated today is also commemorated as Stock Money Day. This day is designed to teach people to stop being afraid of talking about money. So, this is how the day is distinguished from Talk Money Week, which is also held in November to raise awareness. It turns out that talking about the money can be difficult, especially when it comes to financial worries. People are afraid, ashamed, and hesitant, and often they can't admit to themselves. However, conservations are important and can help them make better and less risky financial decisions, get help when faced with financial difficulties, and most importantly, feel less anxious. So the invention of money occurred before the beginning of writing history. Thus, any story about the development of a money is largely based on assumptions and logical conclusions. Significance evidence confirms that ancient markets traded by many things that could be described as means of exchange. These include livestock and grain, which is directly useful. Things even so more beautiful items such as cowrie shells or beads were exchanged for more useful goods. However, such exchanges would be better described as barter, and usual exchange of commodity does not technically make the commodity money or commodity money. So the ancient origins of economic systems precede the written history. Also, and since ancient civilizations kept evolving at different rates, did not keep accurate records. Or be unfortunate that their records were destroyed. It is impossible to trace the true origin of money. In addition, the historical evidence confirms the idea that the money has acquired two forms and is divided into broad categories of settlement money, debit and credit in books, and money and material exchange made of clay, leather, paper, etc. It is very important to break down the barrier of talking about money. After all, talking openly about money is vital to our health, well being, and relationships. Research shows that the people who talk about money, who make better and less risky financial decisions, have stronger personal relationships, help their children develop good money habits for life, and habit better control over their financial situation. Promoting conversations about money in our daily lives helps us build financial confidence and resilience to withstand any event. It prepares us for the future because if we were not ready for this, it would be difficult for us to cope when there is a strain or income or an event that will change one's financial status. So gold mint Europe moves from using silver as a currency to minting gold in 14th century. Risk of national catastrophe. The Bank of England is at risk of a national financial catastrophe because customers are demanding that their money be turned into gold in a time of crisis in 1730s. So qualitative theories of finance first began with the thesis of Louis Bachelor in 20th century. The world financial system, the world begins to form in early 21st century. So National Financial Awareness Day is caused on August 19th. This is a good reminder to make investment and saving seriously and correctly. So people who choose to live without money rely on exchange system in exchange for their daily needs. It includes food, supply, modes of transport, and many other things. The idea of this idiom, like money talks, belongs to the Euripides who expressed in the 5th century BC. It is difficult for people to dare to overcome their fears and complexes. So sometimes they need a boost. Talk Money Day aims to free people from barriers to getting them. Talking about money, the people who founded this holiday are concerned about the people and their health. After all, talking about money affects not only wealth, but also the psychological state of man. The initiative to help people with money is noble and we support it. On this day, people not only learn to talk openly about money, but also find out a lot of useful information that they may need in the future. For example, how to properly plan finances and monitor and multiply them. So, with this, we shall conclude the commemorations for the day. Thanks everyone for joining us. The feedback form has been shared in the form of polls. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form before you leave the platform. So, see you all tomorrow. At the same time with the same link every day. Take care. Good night.